I'm Healthy Mummy. I'm Healthy Emmie. This is Healthy Dad, and that's Healthy Mummy. And today we are going to be doing the monthly update to recap how did the month of June go in Healthy Household. Hey, if you're new here, I'm Healthy Emmie. I'm a nutritionist and a weight loss specialist. If you want to lose weight on a plant-based diet, click the link in the down bar. Work with me as well as a nutrition coach and a mindset coach. You can watch all of the monthly updates. I will link them down below. Let's get into it. The first question that I always like to ask my dear father and mother is, what was your favorite food from the cookbooks over the past month?
As luck and time would have it, my favorite was, we had it last night. We had tofu salad last night, and in theory, it was a good meal to have on a hot night, except for the fact you had to cook it on the stove, which made it pretty warm. But as we've talked about tofu salad, that became wraps for lunch today. So it was a good meal to have once we had it. It's one of these magic meals that you don't feel like you've eaten a lot, but you're full. So, and then with wraps, you can't go wrong.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with Dad's Veggie Burgers always. We had them on Thursday night. They're just so good. And maybe with some corn on the cob on the side. It's just great.
And the beans.
And yeah, with some vegetarian baked beans.
You made baked beans?
Right out of the can.
Right out of the can, sure did. All right, now we're going to talk about our favorite primary foods of the month. Primary foods are outside of your plate. They're the things that nourish your soul, your hobbies, your interests, your relationships. And I have the predictions in my mind. We'll see how it goes. Who would like to do the honors for primary foods?
I'll start. It's summer. Summer is probably one of my most favorite seasons, and to be able to get down to the ocean is a big treat. So as you know, Emmie and I were just down the Connecticut shoreline. I'm from that area, and it really nourishes my soul. I really enjoy time spent there.
For me, when the days are long, I have no trouble getting up before 5 o'clock because it is bright out. And as I've talked many, many times, it's now the time of year where all the things that I like to do, I can do. The problem I'm running into is this person to my right worries that I try to do too many of them in one day. And interestingly, it actually did happen the other day where I did overdo it and paid the price and learned a lesson.
Well, I appreciate that you are learning your body. You know, there's listening to your body and then there's learning your body. We can listen to our body and we still take actions that are not honoring what our body needs. But what are you going to change to ensure that you can honor what your body is asking of you?
I would think, and especially over the last week where it's been so hot and so humid, to certainly understand that when it's 65 or, maybe 70 degrees, you can do all these things without the collateral damage that comes when you have heat stroke or heat exhaustion or dehydration, which of course I'm working on. But that, you have to think about it in advance in regards to, how much can I get done today? And I actually did it today. I went to the Y, but I didn't do as much at the Y so I could ride my bike. Mm-hmm. And I compensated one so I could do the other.
Sometimes it's important to remind ourselves, and I know it's really hard for people like Healthy Dad and I who are very similar humans, that we are human beings and not human doings. And so we can take a moment to just be and not fill our day with so many actions where we can get lost in all of those actions and not be calm and centered and what Eckhart would want us to do, which is to just be present and be and not distract ourselves with doing. All right, let's show off. What win from the month of June do you want to share?
I'll say that I want to really emphasize how I know now that the slim on starch lifestyle is what makes me feel best. Even when we were down at the cottage, to have some different foods that maybe have a lot of salt in them or whatnot, I feel so much better now that I'm back on what I normally eat and what's best for me.
I just want to add to that. I was so proud of Healthy Mummy for going to the grocery store unsupervised. I did not go with her. And this is it's one of the first years. Last year it was really great too. You didn't come back with any salty treats or any desserts. And I was so impressed. And I didn't tell you, I said you can use your signature system. If you want to have some treats, go for it. But you truly didn't want to. Yeah. What changed?
Yeah, I just took my time. those things don't appeal to me much anymore. They just don't. I don't feel the need to have them around.
For me, it's not that the food itself doesn't appeal to me, because it's human to say, oh, ice cream tastes good. What doesn't appeal to me anymore is part of the package deal of eating those foods, which is the feeling you get afterward. That does not appeal to me.
I thought Healthy Mom's victory would be the fact that I cut my hair, but there's actually a story behind that. But I really can't say there were any specific victories. I think the good news is I didn't have any losses in regards to the things that I do. They're all still there, and they're all part of the repertoire. And my goal is to do 3 of those things each day, whatever those 3 might be, any combination. But really, I didn't lose anything. So I'll take that as my victory.
Oh, 100%. Being healthy and alive is a win. Every day is a gift, seriously. So for you to be sitting here and healthy and in great health with a clean bill of health, you cannot ask for more of that than that. That's a huge win. I love this question. I love asking my clients this question. It's my favorite thing to ask them, which is, what have you learned? For them, it's in the past week, but for you, in the past month.
I'll repeat. Seriously, it's the repeat of not putting myself into a situation where I've overexerted myself for my age. So I learned, I now know better, and will not, and there were days this week when I just said I would be nuts to go out and ride my bike. Whether I've done something or done nothing, it just would not be worth it. So that's the lesson I've learned.
And I would say, agree with Dad to listen to your body the older that you get. It'll tell you what's good for you and what isn't.
So what's coming up in the month of July, and can I help you plan for anything?
We're going on a overnight trip to some, I don't think even you know this, we're going to go up to Saratoga to some friends of ours, and sort of thinking about that, about what we're going to bring and how we're going to navigate that. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. We didn't get a chance to tell you.
I wanted Mom to answer that first to see if she brought that up. It's a scenario where I have familiarity with how it works with, for the most part, of this crowd. There could well be some new people there that we don't know or haven't met yet, and it'll be interesting to see how they respond to the way that we eat. In the past couple of years that I've gone up, I've brought my own food. Nobody gives me a hard time. They all know me, and they're all fine with it. Again, it'll be interesting to see kind of the reaction. I think it'll be more curiosity now that it's, it's really out there that obesity is what
an
an epidemic. Thank you, was the word I'm looking for. But yeah, that is it's going to be a fun 36 hours.
Right.
I think 36, 40 hours of what we're going to do. So that's what we're looking forward to.
And you said, people don't give you a hard time, but even if they did, you would still do it. It wouldn't deter you from bringing the food.
I just let them humor themselves. They're not, as we talk about, think again, they're arguing from a position of weakness, and let them talk themselves out.
Also, people often say things just to fill the air, and they don't know what to say. People don't like silence. And so, okay, that food is different. Let me just talk about that to fill the air with some words. And so when people are saying things about whatever it is that you're eating, you end up thinking about it for the next 6 weeks. It's all you can think about. They've forgotten that they've said it 2 seconds after, because they're just saying words all day long.
Right.
So if somebody says something about the way that you're eating, first and foremost, it's a projection of how they feel about their relationship with food and their body. But also don't take it to heart, because they're not going to remember even that they said it the next day. You have to do what is best for you first and foremost.
And I'm most comfortable with being almost over-prepared. We're driving. It'll be easy to bring the food, not an issue. To have it if we need it.
Any struggles from this past month?
Navigating awful weather. And I think, not just in this part of the country, but really across the country. We're not in the heat dome or whatever they call it. That it's just been very difficult. Again, it comes back to the same thing I've already been saying about managing myself, because it's been drastic. And for those that have found nice weather somewhere, good for you. But it's really been a challenge. We wait all year for this, and this is what we get. It's kind of annoying. That's good.
Well, that just reminded me, I was talking about this yesterday, the idea of radical acceptance and controlling what you can, letting go of what you can't. And we can't control what the weather is, but we can control our attitude toward it. And if we let that takes a lot of power away from us. If we give away our emotions and how we feel every day to what the weather is, man, you're going to have emotions all over the place when you live in the state of New England, and no matter where you live, really. So becoming more in the control center of our emotions and not letting things that are completely out of our control determine how we go about our days, just making the most of what we have. And when the days are nice, we really enjoy those ones. Mm-hmm. Any struggles for you, Mom?
I can't think of anything.
Being so fabulous.
Yeah, no, what? I gotta
being married to Dad.
Right, that's a tough one.
How long did it take you, once starting the SOS program, to really feel and see a difference in how you looked and felt?
I think I began to feel improved almost immediately, but I think what's important is that I continue to feel better even as time goes by. But as soon as I felt that my spare tire disappear and I felt comfortable in that area of my body, then for me, everything changed.
I know for me, when I went on the program, I was sending you pictures of the scale because I was basically losing a pound a day. And in the first 3 weeks, I did lose about 20 pounds. And, you know, when you're able to walk up a flight of stairs, not feeling like you're carrying a bag of groceries, that does make a difference. And the other thing, it happened not too long ago when I was coming home off my bike. One of our neighbors, Murph, Mrs. Murphy, said, you know, geez, Tim, you don't have that pot belly like all the other guys your age do. So,
all right.
You know, when you get that reaffirmation a number of years down the road, whenever I go by your house now, I cycle very hard.
Who started SOS first? What were the feelings between you when one of you was eating one way and one of you was eating a different way?
I started first. And the only glitch I remember is when we were in London visiting you. Weren't we in London visiting you? And Dad hadn't started yet. And I could feel the tides turning a little, that he might be interested in this. And I think that it started shortly after that for you.
Yeah, not long after. And, you know, again, it was, kind of a product of how are we going to navigate dinners at home 7 nights a week. And at that point, I says, okay, well, I'll give it a whirl and we'll see what happens. Here I am.
The rest is history.
Here he is. And then the last question from my clients is, any tips on how to be a good influence without judgment?
It's a real trick, and we've joked many times that you almost have to be that blow-up toy with the clown's face with the sand in the bottom getting punched, and he comes back with a smile every single time. And again, when you get reaffirmations of what you're doing, you just stay the course. And again, it'll be interesting this week with the people that we see we're still doing what we're doing, that we haven't caved, you know. So it'll be interesting to see. But, you know, again, just from the standpoint, it's not a situation where I'm right and you're wrong. I'm right. You decide what you want to do.
It's the great secret, really. You won't know how good it is until you do it. And once you start doing it, you'll never go back.
All right, we will see you to wrap up the month of July. How many years of marriage will you be celebrating on July 27th?
How many? Let's see.
38.
38 years.
Wow, for as long as Nana's been alive. And then how many years together?
45.
45 years
45
together.
years together. All right. Well, I love you, honey, and we'll see you in my next one.